A very pleasant good evening to you as we welcome you to another edition of the Storm Report for Season 3. Tonight is Episode 8. We're bringing you tonight's episode live from the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. I'm your program host, Kevin Derryberry, and down yonder is my broadcast co-host, Mr. Ed Cole. Ed is here with us tonight. And the ladies in the middle, Alyssa Mercado and Cameron Mercado, we're going to talk a little soccer. And we're going to talk about Gina Cormier's ladies here tonight for the ACU soccer team. Their season coming to an end later this week. But 9-3-1 for the ladies on the pitch this year. Most wins in program history. And we're going to break it down a little bit with Alyssa Mercado and, of course, her sister Cammie. And without further ado, we welcome everybody to the panel here. Ed Cole, how are you this evening?
Mr. Derryberry, good evening, ladies. Good evening.
Good evening.
So Alyssa is to my left.
They're so
Cammie
excited to be here.
To Ed's right. Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
Cammie is right here, yes.
So first and foremost, let's congratulate your teammate, Shayla Mobo. Most recently, she was the Golden State Athletic Conference Player of the Week. Instrumental in 4 goals in the 5-1 victory over William Jessup. What's it like having a teammate like Miss Shayla Mobo? We'll start with you, Alyssa.
It's actually really good for her being a transfer and stuff like that and just connecting with the team already and stuff, and her just working hard on the field every single game that she gets. So, yeah.
Cammie.
I think playing with her attacking, she has made a big difference this year, coming in, like Alyssa said, as a transfer. So I think you can just tell, like, watching her play, how much more of an attack we have with her there. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When you hear most wins in program history, 9-3-1 with a couple of matches still to play, how does that make you feel? And you just look back, Cammie, you said this is now your 3rd year. When you look back a couple of years and you just kind of take inventory of where you were then and where you are tonight, what's it been like for you, the change in the way the trajectory of the program is going upwards?
Yeah, it's been good. I just noticed, like, my freshman year, we went to, like, winning maybe 1 or 2 games the entire season, and now winning, like, almost every single game. Like, we push ourselves to expect to win every game. I think it's a really good change. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead, Kevin. I'm doing levels right here.
Oh, okay.
Fix some levels real quick.
It certainly is a change. It's a welcome change. How about you when we speak about that in terms of winning games now, then and now? What's that like for you, Alyssa? You play a little bit different position. Obviously, Cammie is at the forefront with the ball quite a bit, but you get to defend things on the backside. Mm-hmm. So what's it like in your point of view, again, winning games?
From playing last year and stuff like that and, like, coming back from 2 years of not playing and stuff, like, it's a really big difference from this team and then our last year's team and, like, how far we've come from this year and stuff like that, especially with Courtney leaving us and just getting a whole new team pretty much and stuff. So it's been a really good experience, like, especially, like, winning too. Like, we're so excited for this week too, like, to play our games and to have senior night with everyone. So it should be good this week.
When you hear the expression "winning cures all," right? There's nothing more factual about that than that statement right there, Ed.
You know, winning cures all and scoring goals cures all, right, Kevin?
Yes.
So this young lady to my right, she scores a lot of goals. Did you know you before we started the show? Did you know you had 26 goals and you're on a record pace as far as goals are concerned? Did you know that?
I did not know that.
But now
I was hoping.
Now you know what you have to do to get that achievement. You got 4 goals to get the record, 3 to tie.
Yeah,
that's what Tim Golson, our SID, told you. So, what does that do as far as your motivation? As far as I'm this close to a record. I really got to kick this up because I look at your goals on all these games. There's there's 4 straight games you've got at least 1 goal, 2 goals. So you're just killing it. What does it feel like to get those goals? And once you get one, of course, I'm sure you want it to snowball into more, don't you?
Yeah, I do want to keep pushing, but I feel like it's more like winning for my team than, like, just racking up the points to break the record. I feel like it would, like, mean more to me if we won the game instead of me scoring.
But it would be good to get a record too, wouldn't it?
Yes, that would be nice too. Yeah.
Win and break records. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, Cammie, we asked those questions about scoring goals and being the leader because, it seems like every team has, a Michael Jordan, if you will, right? Someone that we can look to and someone that can help us through those times where we need someone to pull one out of the fire for us. And it's a God-given ability, right? It's the trust of your teammates. It's your ability to make things happen. So when you look at it like that, how are you able to answer those challenges and rise to the occasion? What comes from within whether it be upbringing or just something that helps you burn that fire and allow you to be your best when the team needs you most? A clutch performer, I like to say.
I think I prefer Kobe Bryant, but
She doesn't pass the ball.
just be quiet. Yeah, and I think just kind of my teammates. I think we all like have a same mindset of playing for each other and not for like, I don't know. I think like playing for each other and like working hard for each other and like covering back or like tapping that goal in for each other, like just to like make each other proud. So I think that's like my main thing to like keep pushing is for them.
And somebody has to do it. Why not, Cammie?
Yeah, why not, right? So I look at your record, Alyssa, and away from here, you're 8-1 on the. What is it about you guys when you go on the road? You play so well. Is it you against the world kind of mentality when you guys go on the road and you know you're in hostile territory and you know everybody's against you except yourselves as far as the team's concerned?
I think so, especially when we went to Ottawa, and like we absolutely hate that school. Like, oh my goodness, like that, like just being there at the beginning, like an hour before, like warm up and stuff, and like I don't know, it's just a different feeling, I guess, when you're at someone's school and stuff like that, and then you beat them. So, yeah,
that's what it's all about.
Yes,
right. To go to the opposition, a hostile environment, and to take care of business. There's nothing sweeter than that.
Especially Surprise, Arizona.
Surprises is a lot of fun.
Yes,
whatever you can win in Surprise, rock climbing or tiddlywinks or rowing or soccer or football or baseball.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Well, I remember you were telling me how the student section was just crazy.
Yeah, my freshman year, they were at us the whole game, so I was so excited to play there again and just.
And then you scoring like the winning goal and stuff too, and like just that feeling.
That was like my favorite moment.
I'll never forget
ever.
that feeling.
After that game, that was the most memorable moment.
So take us through that moment, if you would. We didn't see the goal, but we could probably buy into the emotion of it. So it's you're in a hostile environment. You're in Surprise. You bury the game winner. That must have been a fun moment. Describe that moment, then, if you would, just describe the handshake at the end of that one.
We didn't handshake.
No, we just went our
handshake.
separate ways.
That says it all right there. No handshakes, folks. Okay. All right.
That's
well, very
great.
well. Anyway, do you remember that when you finished it? You got the game winner there?
Yeah, it was pretty early in the game, so I didn't think it was going to be the game winner. I thought they were going to come back and maybe like fight with us, but no, it was honestly a lucky shot, and it went back post. It was assisted by Justine Underwood. So it went back post, and then we all celebrated, and then defense held him down the rest of the game. So I think that's what led to the win.
And did you get to the shutout? Ultimately, was it 1-0?
Yeah,
1-0. 1-0.
Nice.
I'm curious because, Cammie, you've got 26 points on the season that leads the club. And then your sister right here, she's got 6 points. But I'm curious, Alyssa, have you assisted on any of your sister's goals?
Oh, that's a story.
Or how does this work? Okay, tell us the story.
Gonna make us fight right now.
Yeah. So we were up in William Jessup, so up north in California, and so
You're in Rockland.
Yeah. And so I wanted to beat him so badly because of last year. We were talking about that. But so I dribbled through. It was the first half, I'm pretty sure. I dribbled through the whole team all the way up, gave her a perfect pass. She hits the post.
Yeah.
Right to her left foot.
Do that.
She hits the post. I was very upset at her.
So of the 12 goals, you have not assisted on any of the 12 this year?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure either.
And Cammie, it sounds like she hasn't let you forget that moment.
No. I do tend to do that. I miss the easy goals, and then the random shots.
She makes it
end up
like
going in.
Ladies, I want to ask you your road to come here. Obviously, Cammie, you were here before your sister got here. Talk about your road to come to ACU and how, Alyssa, you ended up following your sister here. How'd that work out?
Well, it was kind of last minute for me. It was towards the end of the summer. I was looking at a few different options, but I know I wanted to stay kind of closer to home, but not at home. So I was looking at Arizona. I was very interested. I knew a kicker on the football team that was from Rancho Cucamonga, Sean Bailey.
Punter.
Yeah. So he kind of mentioned this school, and then I looked in and I emailed the coaches, and it just ended up working out. I came for a visit. So, yeah.
Well, if there's any kind of endorsement from Sean Bailey, it's a legitimate endorsement. He is a class act. Always watched him play. Great punter. I think he was one of the better punters that have come through ACU. So
absolutely,
tremendous young man right there. No question about it.
And then Alyssa, you just wanted to follow your sister, or she said, "Hey, come on, sis, this is a great school. Come on and join me."
So honestly, I didn't have the best experience at my school before this one. And I ended up wanting to transfer and stuff, and then I didn't play soccer for quite a bit, and I was like, I kind of want to get back into it because I'm not that bad. So I was like, oh, well, I can check out ACU and stuff like that. Wasn't a big fan of Arizona. Hated Arizona, the weather and everything. So it was a big change, I will say, but having Cameron here and then knowing Sean and other people and Abel, her boyfriend on the football team as well, it just, it sounded like a good fit for me, I guess. And then Courtney helping me through it as well, too. So, yeah, it was a good choice.
You dropped the name. You dropped the name. We picked that one. Was that Abel Lipe?
Abel Lipe?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Strong kickers. We've seen a theme here.
You got that
Sean?
too, Kevin?
Yeah.
Just dropped Abel. Oh, Lipe. Okay.
Yes.
Abel's got a strong leg. We saw him
Yes.
convert his point after tries this past weekend, and a tough one for the Firestorm. We're going to talk to Jeff Bowen about that, so just don't go too far away. I wanted to find out we've got 2 games left, right? And I think that you're right where you want to be. You have a chance to add on to the most program wins. And by the way, when you look at the recognition that Shayla Mobile received, that was the 4th time this season that one of you ladies received that distinct honor, Player of the Week in the Golden State Athletic Conference. So it's indicative of the team's success. The question is, playing for Gina Cormier, it's her first season, but boy, has she made an impact in year number 1. If you would just elaborate a little bit on the relationship that you have with Coach Cormier and just what kind of the change that she brought here to this program.
She's made a lot of good changes and stuff like that. Like, we're more, I feel like, more of a team and stuff like that. And it was a lot of emotion last year, I would say. And this year, just completely positive emotions all the time and stuff. And we can go and talk to her whenever we need. And we just know she'll have our backs and stuff like that. Same goes for Gibbs as well. I would say they're one of my best friends, honestly, for being our coach. So they're awesome.
That speaks volumes.
Yes. Cammie, when you look up and down the stat tracker, I looked at the Life Pacific score. There's shots on goal, assists from a lot of your sisters. Is that the MO and the mantra for winning and being a really good soccer team, that everybody is involved and everybody is selfless? They'll sacrifice whatever's needed to get that victory?
Yeah, I think so. I think with our attacking, we have a lot of options in the attacking. So switching in and out and putting our game changers in, I think it makes a big difference, and having fresh feet and just moving the ball up top. I think that's what's led to us being successful.
Cammie, if you would give us a name of one of your teammates that's kind of unsung, that has been a major impact, but we didn't see, whether it be a statistic or a game-winning goal or just anything that we might not have seen, something behind the scenes. If you could name a player or someone that's made an impact on the success you've had this season.
I think a few. I think Justine Underwood. Yeah, you guys. Shayla was Player of the Week. Cadence, I think, is a big impact. But yeah, that's for attacking and defenders.
I would definitely say my left and right back with me in the back so it would be Noemi and Twan, I think, and then Rachel Clark, and then Taylor and Brenna in the back for being goalie and stuff like that. They've made a lot of impacts, I think, and a lot of, they also I feel improved as well from last year. We all changed. So
You're watching the Storm Report from the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. I'm Kevin Derryberry. He's Ed Cole, and the ladies in the middle are the Mercado sisters, Alyssa Mercado and Cameron Mercado. And my final one for you, ladies, we've got 2 games left, 2 matches left. Vanguard here at home, and then Masters University. What's going to take to get a couple of wins to finish out the string and set yourself up for what looks to be a high seed in the GSAC tournament?
I think it has, we have to be really prepared mentally as well, and physically as well. But we just have to make sure we're prepared, for practices, in the mornings and stuff like that. We have really early practices, but we have to put in 110%, for everything we do, at DST, everything. And just be prepared and, watch film on them, watch film on us, and, fix things that we need to fix. And I think we'll be good, though.
I think
we'll
so,
be really
too.
good.
I think last year, towards the end of the season, I think everyone noticed that we got tired and we gave up towards the end because we knew we weren't going to make it to playoffs, so it was kind of just a drag. But this year I can see us pushing through, and we have a good chance of making it to playoffs this year, so I think we'll be doing good this weekend.
It's interesting that you've recognized that from one year to the next. This year you don't have that lag. Now you have this drive. We're trying to get 11 wins. And
that's great to see that growth from one season to the next, right?
Yeah.
That lets you know that everything's worthwhile, that you're actually moving towards something, as opposed to kind of just spinning your wheels, and you're like, well, where are we going? Are we making improvements? But you can see tangible improvements in this program.
And these ladies are from Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Yes.
And Alyssa and I were talking before the show, and always the best conversation happened off the air. But we realized that people just love to say Rancho Cucamonga, and we don't know why that is, other than people love to say Rancho Cucamonga. So
it's a fun name for
anyway,
a city.
Ed, if you like to say it, go
Rancho
ahead.
Cucamonga.
Yeah,
that was fun.
All right, ladies, we wish you nothing but success going forward. And Vanguard, it'll be later on this week, October 26th, 8 p.m., right here on Firestorm Field. Congratulations going forward, and come back and let us know how things went for you in the second season. We'll be keeping an eye out. All right, very good.
Thank you, ladies.
Cameron
Thank
Mercado,
you.
Alyssa Mercado, our guests. We're going to turn our attention to football. Head coach Jeff Bowen joins the program right after this. We welcome you back inside the Tower Grill on the campus of Arizona Christian University. I'm Kevin Derryberry alongside Ed Cole. The man in the middle is the front man of ACU Football. Jeff Bowen joined us on the program. JB coming off a tough victory at home Saturday night. Lost at home for maybe the fourth time in program history. I think it was number 4 now. But it was a 34-30 win. You fall to the number 15 team in the country, Montana Western. But walking away as the broadcaster on this one, Coach, it was a game that was it was gratifying from the standpoint that you guys competed for 60 minutes, and the actual result wasn't there as far as the win, but how you played the game, how you guys fought, took shots, threw shots back, and Tyler Duncan, another special performance for him. He was the Bell Lexus North Scottsdale player of the game for what he did, accounting for multiple touchdowns. But, Coach, I just thought the effort was fantastic. It was one of the better games of the season in a really, really tough conference.
Oh, it was our best effort of the year, to be honest with you. Yeah, when you're sitting at 2-5 coming into the game, there's a lot of ways you can go, and it really comes down to character and leadership in your seniors and stuff. And I thought our guys had a great week of preparation, and I thought they played their tails off, in every phase of the game. Special teams improved, didn't make huge plays, but they didn't give up big plays. So that was a marked improvement. Defense gave up one big play, but that was late, and we were trying to do some things to get the ball back as quick as possible. And
you were taking chances on that.
That was bring it and play zero coverage, and they hit it. So, but other than that, they just there was only 9 possessions for each team. So, we did a good job on offense, keeping the ball and keeping possessions going. And defensively, our guys did a good job of not giving up big plays. We just came up short, but I was real proud of the effort. It was our best effort of the year.
480 total yards, Coach, with some great balance.
Yeah. We made a concerted effort that we were gonna run the ball consistently. And the 2 freshman running backs, A.J. Sibley and Jalen Davenport, did a great job. A.J. had his best rushing numbers of the year. He's made some big impact plays for us this year as a freshman. And then receiving corps did a great job. I think we played like 11 receivers and stuff, and they did a great job of blocking for one. And then when the ball was there in their direction, they made plays, and that was huge. And then Tyler, this was Tyler's best game of the year. He was consistent, getting the ball out, making good checks, running the RPO stuff that we like to do. He definitely one of his best performances he's ever had.
Katie and I get a chance to come on the field during warm-ups, and we get to check on you and the rest of the players. But we always know that Tyler's locked in. But could you tell that he was locked in at a different level in the pregame warm-ups, Coach?
It really came back to the whole week of preparation. He was very locked in on what we were trying to accomplish. We had some specific things that we thought were going to be there. And then he made some really nice adjustments during the game, coming to the sideline, telling us what he was seeing. Made a couple changes in our RPO schemes that really stretched him. He was just locked. You're right. I mean, he was locked in, but it wasn't just a pregame thing for him. He had a really, really good week of preparation.
He was outstanding, and it was certainly a ton of fun to watch. And he accounted for 4 touchdowns. We mentioned the 319 through the air. And he's also very efficient running the football as well. Mm-hmm. See if I can pull up his numbers on the ground.
8 for 51.
Yeah, so
2 touchdowns.
Accounting for 4 more scores, 102 touchdowns in the young man's career. That does not include Greenway High School. That is at ACU. So over the 100 club. He's the only one in the 100 club. But he was just outstanding. You mentioned A.J. Sibley, Coach. He ran the ball 73 yards for him. Who would know that AJ was such a good receiver as well? Because coming in to high school, didn't have a lot of numbers receiving the football, but here at ACU, he's shown that he can catch the football out of the backfield.
Well, that's the beauty of recruiting him, because he played for Donnie Annis, who's a good friend of mine. Obviously, everyone knows that. So Donnie told us, he goes, that's one of the unknowns. The unknowns about him, people just didn't understand that he did have the ability to catch the ball. He just didn't do a ton of it in high school, which in our offense, that's a big deal when you're a running back and can catch the ball out of the backfield. And he's got our 2 biggest pass plays of the year.
Yes.
One
was week 1, 49 against OUAZ.
Yeah. And then he had the 60-something yarder or 50-something yarder for a touchdown against College of Idaho. So he's an impact player. He's a go the distance anytime he touches the ball type of player. We're excited about his development. Obviously, when you're a high school kid that's that talented, they just hand you the ball and they keep feeding it to you. You get to this level, you got to be able to do some stuff like pass protection and run blocking, and be able to be a complete back. And he's definitely stepping into that role. So,
Coach, I look at Tyler Duncan under sack. It says 0. How would you grade out the offensive lines, considering TD didn't get brought down at all on Saturday night?
No one wants to hear about complaining and whining, but our offensive line has kind of been run through the mill. I mean,
a mash unit.
Yes, it has been.
Cullup was out again with a concussion, and Matt Jordan was out. We started Blazgian got his first start. He's a tackle up from the developmental team. He started at left tackle, and he played the whole entire game. Didn't give up a sack. He made freshman mistakes, but tell you what, he stayed in the fight, and you can live with that. and then Tyler got the ball out on time. He did a great job with that. Backs blocking and checking. We were doing a few different things, but again, the line kept Tyler upright, no sacks, and the key is also positive yardage all the time. We only had 2 negative yardage plays all night, and so that let us stay in front of the chains and kept the call sheet open to do a lot of things that we wanted to do, and so the line did a great job. We ran, we averaged almost 6 yards a carry on rushing the ball, and they kept Tyler upright. So that's a good night for the offensive line.
Yeah, Jalen Davenport, you mentioned him just a minute, and he was a wrecking ball early. I know he got nicked up, but he was able to persevere, come back in, show his toughness, and maybe take a carry late. I know he was involved in a play late in that football game, but 8 different receivers that Tyler Duncan was able to have chemistry with, none bigger than Chase Tompkins. 8 balls, 149, both career highs for Chase, and he got a touchdown as well. But I thought the chemistry he had with Jonah Leone, I thought Jonah made some big catches. If he had 5 catches, 4 of them, I think, went for first down, none bigger than the one over the middle. It was just nice to see other guys step up. Lamont Hurt Jr. also. It was just the receiving corps seemed like they grew up a little bit last week also.
They did a great job in the last 3 games. I've made a concerted effort to making sure we play more receivers. And 11 guys got in the game, and they were impactful. Like you mentioned Jonah. Jonah was playing through, some major back issues early in the season, trying to tough it out. And I finally just sat him a game and let him rest. And Travis and the crew did treatments and got him healed. And now he's back being the Jonah we expected him to be. And he made some really huge catches and did a great job in the game also,
Yeah, extended drives.
Yeah, I mean, he did just all of them. And then the freshman, Nate, Pele, Tukumoatu.
Mowiatu. That's why you just call him Pele, Coach.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get his name locked down.
It's Tuku
Mowiatu.
Yeah,
you got to get the Mowiatu. Yeah, in there at the end. And for a freshman tight end, this is only his second year of football.
He's a hungry player, Coach.
He played his senior year in high school. We got him through some connections and stuff. And he's going to be something special.
Where do you think his best spot is? Like, where does he project? You said he hasn't played a lot of football.
He's a tight end.
Okay.
He's a tight end.
Because we line him up at,
Pure.
I think he was listed as the starting slot receiver this past week on the depth
our
chart.
tight end is considered a slot, but he's a true tight end. Yeah. Right now he's like 6'4", about 240, runs well, clean routes, great hands. He's got a passion for the game. He's blocking well. I'm real excited about his future. He's going to be something special.
He's got thighs like Moses Smith. If that puts it in perspective, we're talking just giant men, grown men running with a lot of speed.
Yes.
EC?
Kevin, I'm glad you said Moses Smith. Let's go to the defensive side. Cameron Tibbetts, 13 tackles. Jackson Ortiz, 11. Jordan Francis, 10. 2 sacks, 2 TFLs, 5 pass breakups. Defense was active and aggressive all night, Coach.
Yeah, they did some good stuff. Our coaching staff came up with a scheme where they're a strong run team, and they had one of their receivers is obviously the heart of their passing game.
The coach's son. Eli Norris.
He's a fine player.
He's good.
He does some good things. But I thought we did a good job of minimizing big plays. They moved the ball. They're a good football team. But everything they got was earned, and our guys really stayed in the fight, And that was what it was all about. Our 2 safeties, Jackson Ortiz and Jordan Francis, I can't say enough about their play this year. They've done a great job. And, Moses may not have the ton of stats. He's got good stats. But I tell you what, every team in the conference respects him because he's doubled
and
every game.
Yes, and tripled.
Double and triple.
Right?
Everyone knows where Moses is going to be, and he still makes plays. Tibbetts plays with a lot of heart. He's a sideline-to-sideline guy with a lot of passion, and he's got another year to go, so that's going to be good. And so we had a nice little scheme that the defensive coaches came up with to give us a chance.
How about Griffin Meyer in run support, too? I thought he was able to come up and make some plays as well.
Griff is
G8.
he's one of our most consistent tacklers. I mean, for his size, everyone looks out there at him and they think they can pick on him throwing the ball or run it at him, and he's just consistent. He's a really hard-nosed, old-school football player. He'll throw it in there and make tackles and cover well. So, he's had a nice year.
Coach, it's always kind of interesting when we learn of the personnel that's available to us, especially from a broadcasting point of view. And we know that Abiel missed a little time. He told me that he was a little banged up. He was kind of nursing an illness during the week. But we had no idea that we're going to get another place kicker on the very first kick of the game. I'm trying to think of the young man's name. He's got a name.
Adam Klump.
Adam Klump.
Klump, 46, yep. I think it was. Either way. But so somehow or another, you're able to get these guys some opportunity, whether it was he did something extra in practice or maybe Abiel missed some time. But how did you go about selecting your place kickers for the game?
Well, he's our number one kicker. He missed He missed a team activity, so he sat a quarter.
And that's the beauty of it, Coach. That was my point, is that the accountability that you hold for everybody, probably including Mrs. Bowen as well, right? Is that's one of the true facts about Coach Bowen, is that people just know you gotta do what's asked of you, and if you do that, you're going to be in good grace. But if you don't, you're going to pay the price, and whether it's a small price or not, it's still a learning lesson and a teaching lesson, right?
Yeah, it's other than Mrs. Bowen, she runs the show. So Heather runs the show.
You got that right.
But
just like
no, I mean, we've talked about it with this guys. It doesn't. The guys. I don't care if we're going to go 9-1 or 2-8. The standard's the standard. Our culture's our culture. Everyone's going to be held accountable to doing the right things when they're supposed to do it. I mean, anyone that's been around here for a while knows that. I don't care what your status is on the team. If you're not doing what you're supposed to do, you're going to sit and you're going to miss some time. I mean, we had a 2-time All-American that missed 4 starts his senior year.
As you're speaking, I'm thinking of JC7.
Yes,
I just
and you know what's cool about it? He's back here today because he plays over in Europe and they just finished their season.
He's shredding. He's just shredding in Europe.
He's killing it in Europe.
Oh,
and but when he came back the first year, he talked about the accountability and all that kind of stuff, and it took him a while to figure it out. But he's doing great over there. But the holding him accountable here has allowed him to also grow and mature into a professional football player, and he's killing it in the German league, and he's looking at some different opportunities now too. So, we're always going to hold the guys accountable, and they know that, and that's just part of the culture. What we're gonna the standard's the standard. It ain't going to change.
Coach, I thought Derek Brush had a shot to get in the league. And it just shows you again how dominant of a kicker he was, an All-American 2 times running. It's hard. It's that next level is just hard. But JC7, Johnny Cole, you just feel like, what more can he do? Someone give this young man a phone call. Just give him a call. Put him in your camp and let him return a punt. Because I just feel like he would take advantage of his opportunity.
John is a special. You look at him, and especially at that next level, it's. You'd go, okay, he doesn't have the size, he doesn't have this, that, or the other. But once you put him on the field, get him in a competitive situation, it's just he'll make the most of it. And him and I even talked today. It's all the little things. I have a saying up on my board, and it says, "When talent meets talent, talent is no longer enough." And that's where Johnny's at, and he's learning that. So he's trying to master his craft at the highest level. And hopefully he gets that shot, and he's working at it. So we're proud of him. He's got one more class, and he's done with his degree.
Good.
So we're proud of him to finish up that while he's also playing professionally in Europe. So he's doing it the right way, and we're real proud of him.
No question about that.
Coach, even though this is obviously not the season you thought it would be, 2-6, lost 5 straight, you still see the effort and the fight by this football team. Are you encouraged by that?
We had our best week of practice last week. Guys were solid, locked in. You saw the effort, the focus on the sideline. Our guys were engaged in the game. They're engaged in supporting each other. Our seniors have won a lot of football games here. They've won 2 conference championships. They've gone to 2 tournaments, and they're not going to fold up just because, like we say, we don't play to the scoreboard. So, yeah, are we happy with the results this year? Absolutely not. This is below the standard we've set over the years, but the guys are staying in the fight. They're staying engaged. We had our spiritual development today. They're all there, engaged, locked in for the week. They're Firestorm. So it's not what we wanted, but we're going to learn from it, grow from it, and they're continuing to work hard. So that's a lot. That's a lot of what we can ask for.
Yeah, that's all you can ask for.
Yep.
JB, my last one for you. Montana Tech, they're next on the horizon. And talking to Tyler before the ball game, and we talk about what kind of challenges these guys pose for you, Montana Western. And he just said, hey, they're the same. They're the same. Every team that we play is essentially the same. And we kind of look back at that. And the model that College of Idaho, or whatever it is, they are. A lot of very similarities. The whole league is built this same way. So Montana Tech, another team that's they're over 500. They're trying to make their case in the conference.
Yeah,
but,
number 23 in the country, Kev.
What kind of challenges do they pose?
Well, they were a borderline top 10 team a couple weeks ago. They lost to their rival Western, and they got upset last week at Rocky Mountain, so that dropped them down to like number 23. But they got 3 games left. If they win those 3 games, they're on the bubble for an at-large bid. So this is a huge game for them. And you're right, they line up. Here's what you're going to get on every Saturday night in the Frontier. They're going to line up. They're going to play physical football. They're going to be fundamentally sound. They're going to block. They're going to tackle. And you're going to have to play them for 4 quarters. And you know what? We're loving the challenge, to be perfectly honest with you. We have to work our tails off every week to prepare and get our guys ready. And we haven't lived up to our standard that we set for various reasons. And that's for coaches to sit around and lament about when the season's over and recruiting and all that kind of stuff and who's coming back. But we love being in the Frontier. We love the challenge of it, and we're going to get better. So I'm not discouraged at all. We're having fun with it. It's tougher than heck, but we'll play this one out, and then we'll start building again.
Another trip to Montana. Only this time you're going to Butte. So, Coach, we wish you well going up there and in that spoiler role, if you will. Just go there, take care of business, get a win, and set yourself up for winning the last couple games against Montana Tech and then Rocky Mountain here at home in a couple of weeks.
Well, that's the goal, and we'll go up play Tech. I've talked with their head coach, has been really open, and the conference coaches have been great. The reception we've had into the conference has been phenomenal. Everybody loves having us in the conference, and so that part has been good. The head coaches are very friendly, and I'm getting along with everybody. It's a neat environment. It's a neat college football conference with a lot of history, and so we're excited about it. And we're excited about the challenge. 27 degrees, maybe a little snow, and we'll get after it a little bit.
Okay.
Last year, you guys got some new gear, right? So you're ready. You got
Some
that
cold weather gear, Coach?
We got those sideline jackets, so thank you for all the donors.
Are they embroidered now? Or they got the logo on them? Or we?
I've not put on the logos on them this year yet.
We're getting close. We're getting close.
We'll get that thrown on
JB,
there.
always a pleasure. We appreciate the effort. Ed and I have had a blast, through the first 4 at home, and Riley, by the way, filled in. Thank you, Riley Tucker, if you're watching tonight. RT got it done for us, but just the idea of just watching this team get better, and like you said, it's a tough conference, so we're looking forward to the excitement as we go along. We're going to turn it to round ball. We're going to talk a little hoops, lady style. Rusty Rogers on the main stage. If you didn't know this, Rusty Rogers has coached college basketball or any kind of coaching 40 years. That's pretty impressive. He joins the program next. Welcome back to the Storm Report. KDB alongside Ed Cole. Rusty Rogers joins the program here on the Storm Report. Coach Rogers, welcome in. How are you on this fine Monday night?
I'm doing great, thank you.
You got the bright red gear on. Are you coming out of practice? You heading into practice?
Yeah, they're still practicing over there, so okay. I snuck out a little bit.
You snuck out. We just mentioned it before we brought you up. 40 years. You know, you got to be a special individual to be able to endure coaching any level, but longevity is key in 2023, and you possess that trait, Coach. Congratulations. 40 years.
Yes, thank you.
5 right here at Arizona Christian.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my 25th year as a college coach and 15 years at the scholastic level. So, yeah, 40 years. Wow.
You look back. Oh, is it your turn, Ed? My apologies.
No, go ahead.
No, Ed, you take it away.
So 40 years, Coach, 5 years here at ACU. How have you seen this program grow, and how have you grown as a coach over 4 decades?
Wow, yeah, just keeping up with all the changes in society. Social media, is obviously one that comes to the forefront, but things are just so different than when I first started in 1982 is when I first started as head coach. So, but Arizona Christian's really been a blessing for me. I wish it was on the other end of my career. To be frank with you, it's a place that I would, have loved to have been here for 40 years. But the Lord works in mysterious ways, and here I am at the latter part of my career here, and it's been phenomenal. The administration is so supportive. The values of the school are perfectly in line with what I believe in and what I try to do with our basketball program as well. So for me, it's a perfect fit. I don't know if the administration side says the same thing, but I really feel very comfortable here.
And you mentioned changes over 40 years. How is technology in the growth of technology, and how quick that has grown as far as iPads and watching video, all this other stuff for you, Coach? How has that helped you in your job?
Well, it used to be an advantage not to have it for me, because I was the type of coach that went out there and scouted opponents in person, obviously recruiting in person, writing letters, handwritten letters, and that kind of stuff. And, as we've gotten to where we are now, coaches can be kind of lazy. You just request a video, or you get online, you can watch a video right there at your doorstop. And I was one of the few coaches back then that actually went out, and I traveled quite a bit as a college coach to go see an opponent when I could in person. And it paid off because not everybody else was doing it. So I lost that advantage. But it sure is a lot more convenient. But then again, that convenience adds some time commitment to the whole thing. So, a college basketball coach, even at this level as a head coach, I spend a lot more time in game preparation and those kinds of things because the resources are available to me so readily. So it is a little bit more time consuming. I try to keep that balance, though.
Coach, do you still do advanced scouting? Are you still able to? Do you have the time to travel across and watch an OUAZ women's team if they play, Masters, or do you have part of your staff does that, or how do you address the advanced scouting now?
We're strictly on video now because everybody has to video their games, and we have. We work with a company called Synergy, and everything's up there for us, and we can see all their games, right online, just with the
That's quality of life, right? I mean,
yeah. So in a sense, it's more convenient. But like I said earlier, not every coach would do what I would do back in the day. So I had that advantage that now it just kind of went away because it's so convenient for everybody.
Coach Rogers, last year you went 14-15, 9-9 in conference play. If you're 500 in the GSAC, I'm sure you'd rather be over 500. But maybe at the end of the day, with all the challenges that you had in season, you'll take 9-9 in conference play. But I'm just curious. The final one, you lost 83-78 to Menlo in the GSAC tournament. It was the opening round. How long does a loss like that linger? It's the off season. It's the final game of the year. I know we're on to new things, but I'm just curious, just for conversation's sake, how long does that one loss linger?
It's funny. I just got out of practice, and we already talked about that game again today in practice. So it's still there. 2 years in a row, we struggled to get by Menlo in the GSAC conference tournament, and both games were down to the last possession, and we lost both of them. So, that you just never really get over it. It's always a good reminder as we try to perfect our game in the practice session. It's always a good reminder to refer back to that game because it was a bittersweet loss for us. So it still tastes bad.
Coach, when you look into the horizon of the new season, one mainstay you have several. Graciela Roybal also will be back, but Alyssa Alvarez, a one-time NAIA All-American honorable mention player, 2-time GSAC first teamer. She can score. Last year when we talked to you about this time, you had a different role for Alyssa. She's always been a scorer, but you kind of asked her to be more of a facilitator. What will be Alyssa's role this year, and how did things end up for her overall last year?
Yeah, especially when we talk about offense with our team, it starts with AA. She's just so talented and good off the dribble, good shooter. So we're actually going to change up our defense or our offense this year and try to get the ball out of her hands and get her some more easy looks with cuts and some screens and things like that. So we're going to hopefully add another dimension to her game. What happens in the game of women's basketball is if you got a scorer that scores off the dribble, I mean, there's ways to stop that.
Sure.
Double team that person, that kind of thing. And she got a lot of that last year. And we're just going to try to make her life a little bit easier this year and get her some shots via screens and cuts. So we've completely revamped our offense, but she's still the focal point for us. We feel like with our offense, too, we're going to get some easy looks for some other kids, too. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Coach, who are some of the newer young ladies that you're excited about bringing into that's in the program that you're looking to grow and throw those young ladies out there and see what they do?
Yeah, so we only lost one player from last year, Casey Brown. At the end of the year, our roster significant player, Casey Brown, was the only one we lost, and that was a significant loss, a double-double type of person. But we brought in 5 freshmen that have made the varsity. Taylor Teeple, a 6'1" kid out of Tacoma, Washington, has been the star of the stars. She's really a physical inside presence. Good bloodlines. Her mom played at University of Washington, was a very good player at University of Washington. Taylor's been fantastic. She's just had some illnesses that have knocked her out for weeks at a time. So her progress has been probably a little bit slower than normal. She's healthy right now. We had a scrimmage last weekend. Did a fantastic job. I'm expecting big things from Taylor Teeple. And then we got a little point guard from Nebraska that's developing really, really well, Addison Neal from a little town called Alma, Nebraska. She's shown some signs this year. We don't have a clear spot for her at this point with the depth that we have, and AA Alyssa Alvarez is that position, so she's going to command a lot of minutes. But Addison's been really a great player in practice, and she's making other people work really hard. She has a great future as well. And then Shaylin DeYager, another big girl that we recruited out of Southern California, 6-footer, fantastic move. She can play inside, outside. She's going to be in the mix. And then the other one that I'm really, really impressed with is Cynthia Lopez. She's a 3-time state champion out of Millennium. Mm-hmm. And she knows how to win, and she plays both ends of the floor. She's a great defender, and she has a knockdown 3-point shot. She is going to surprise a lot of people. I don't think she was very heavily recruited, and she's seeming to enjoy the environment here and doing a really good job for us. So we've got some freshmen that I'm planning on getting some things from them during the course of the season.
Boy, Cynthia comes from a championship-rich type program, so just like Graciela did. Coach, which brings me to my next question, and Ed kind of alluded to it over the 4 years. Not so much change, but the recruiting aspect, the recruiting business, the recruiting lifestyle, NIL. Everything's really, really different. How is it? What's your approach now, Coach, when you talk about recruiting? How do you go about it? It's a different landscape now.
Yeah, it definitely is. I definitely recruit differently than I did in my earlier career, but it's mostly because of my age and the fact that I had a daughter in 1995. My wife and I had our daughter, and then she played basketball through high school and through college, and I actually coached her in high school and college. It really changed how I approached my coaching and especially my recruiting. I tell the recruits' families right up front, I'm more like a dad now than I am a coach. And that's my sales pitch, and it's true. I mean, it's why I'm coaching at my age, is to prepare these kids for life. And I saw what it did for my daughter. I certainly saw what it did for myself, being active in college sports and high school sports. I don't know where I'd be without it. I don't know where my child would be without it. And I use that approach because that's truly who I am at this point in my career. So it's we've got some families that really want that nurturing for their children, and Arizona Christian in and of itself is a great place for that as well. So despite the fact that the landscape has changed, I've changed individually with my priorities and how I communicate with families in the recruiting process. And we're, as you guys well know, we have very unique kids here, and it's not for everyone. It's just not a place that's for everyone. You need to be sound in your Christian fundamentals. You're going to go to chapel twice a week. You're going to have a Bible minor within your curriculum. So it's got to be a good fit. And you got a coach here and myself that's a Christian, and we're going to pray before games, and we're going to have devotions and those kinds of things. So the fit still is really, really important here. And we're able to find some kids with our national recruiting base. I mean, we've got 11 states, again, represented on our roster, that families that have their kids, they want them to be here. Mm-hmm. So.
And I would imagine at this stage of your career, from year 1 to year 40, having really solid assistant coaches, that's instrumental to what you do, Coach, but it could not be any more instrumental now than what it is to have your 5 assistant coaches, a solid group of young ladies and young men to be right underneath you and to help you.
Yeah, an interesting thing that evolves, the more you're in the profession, I guess it's in any profession, but I've found this to be true. I'm less threatened by assistant coaches. I know my first few years, I didn't want anybody with any more experience than I had, because I didn't want anybody, taking my job from me. My attitude is totally different now. I look for guys that are experienced. I've got a volunteer assistant this year named Clint Valley, who's older than I am, more experienced than I am, mm-hmm. who's a volunteer, moved here from Oregon just to help the squad. He's been a blessing to our program. Adam Rode, who I had on my staff when I was here originally in 2000 at a high school here in Phoenix. Adam, so I've known Adam for 23 years. He just barely got out of high school when I first met him. And I kind of follow, you just had Coach Bowen here. I follow the football model in a lot of different ways as a basketball coach. I probably learned more about basketball and coaching from football coaches than anybody, but I actually have Adam as my offensive coordinator. He handles all my offense, and it allows me to work on team building and defense, and I could focus on some things. And that's a model that I stole, obviously, from football. We may be the only program in the country where we actually have an offensive coordinator and the head coach doesn't run the offense. So, and I'm good with that. It's really helped me shore up some other things, like I said, within our program, and he's fantastic at what he does. So, and I think that comes with experience. You can't do it all at my age, and that people that specialize in things can give you a little bit more than maybe you can trying to do everything.
Coach, excellent answers to all those questions from Ed. I'm just, for fun, the young lady out of Shelton, Washington, by way of Capitol High School, Reagan Henry. We see her all the time. She's around campus. She's very involved in so many different things. Yep. Wonderful personality. Hopefully she can stay healthy for you. And if she can, what kind of a role does she have going forward for you this year?
Yeah, when I think of Reagan, I think of how I blew it last year. I didn't really give her much of an opportunity to play last year. She's an undersized player that her best skills are probably not at the guard position, but she's only 5'4", 5'5", and I kind of fell into that old thing that she's just not going to be able to handle it with her lack of height, and I couldn't be more wrong. I should have trusted my instincts through the recruitment process. Number one, I recruited her for her energy. She came to one of our elite camps that I had the very first year I had the job here, and she's just full of energy, like you say, and great leadership skills. And she portrayed that all year last year, and I never really rewarded her with playing time. So it's one of the big self-criticisms I have coming out of last year is I should have leaned on that girl more. And so consequently, this year she's slated to be a starter for us this year.
Good. Great. Congratulations
to her. She is. She's got a COVID year. I'm even thinking I'm trying to talk her into playing that extra year beyond this year. She has been fantastic this preseason, a great leader. Gets the job done on both ends of the floor, can score, can get to the basket. strong, no nonsense, just physical player. She's going to add a really nice dimension to our rotation this year. I'm really proud of Reagan, and I'm glad she stuck with it.
Fantastic. I'm glad I asked you that question right there, Coach.
Yeah,
good question,
you
Kev.
set me up beautifully.
So, Coach, on Saturday, this season kicks off. You got 4 of your first 5 at home. Embry-Riddle comes in on Saturday. I know you're excited for year 5 of Firestorm ladies basketball.
I really am. Usually, 5 years you should have your program in place and start seeing fruits of your labor. And we took a little bit of a step back in year 4. It was difficult, a losing record after coming off a 21-win season the year before, on the verge of making the national tournament. We should have got a bid, in my opinion, the year before, and then last year was the proving ground, and we didn't come through. We were 14-15. We did manage to win some big games down the stretch to get ourselves in the playoffs, which was encouraging. And like I said, we got the whole team returning. Essentially minus Casey Brown, and then I've got to mention another girl on our roster that you guys got to watch, and that is sophomore Emily Till. Emily was, I recruited her out of Colorado, not a big name, not a prestigious career in high school, but she just had the look of a player that could fit into our system of speed and pressing. And she's 6'1". She's probably the fastest sprinter on our team. She can get up and down the floor, relentless, super coachable, great attitude, a Reagan Henry, a leadership model, perfect. They complement each other so well. She played on our developmental team last year for the first half of the year and did a really good job, so I promoted her to the varsity, which I haven't done prior to that situation, and she started getting into the rotation towards the end of last year and worked her tail off this summer. You can tell she's a double machine. She's going to be a shocker to our conference, and I hope too many conference coaches won't watch this. They're going to be shocked when they have to face Emily Till this year. She's got a little hook shot now. Just relentless. I'm really excited about her future.
Yeah, averaged 12 points, 10 rebounds, and 2.5 steals per game at Canyon City.
Yes.
She got it done in high school.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Very under-recruited, skinny. She's put on some muscle through our strength and conditioning with dynamic sports training. And she's soaking it all in and really becoming all that she can be. It's really amazing to see.
Coach, we're up against it time-wise, but 30 seconds or less. What is it about the non-conference schedule? You have number 11, Carroll, in the early stages of the season. What is it that you like about your non-conference schedule this year?
It's the most competitive schedule I've had since I've been here. Carroll and Rocky Mountain coming in from the Frontier Conference. Olivet Nazarene, always nationally ranked, coming in. Concordia, Nebraska, national champions of NAI just a few years back. We're going to get tested big time.
Last one, I did say last one, but this one you got to mention one thing. Cleveland. This man is from Cleveland. He's from the land, and who's the best play-by-play broadcaster in baseball?
That's got to be Tom Hamilton.
Tom Hamilton.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to roll up for you. Yeah. I'm going to give you a little Tom Hamilton right after the broadcast, but he's a good one. Let me tell you that.
Yeah.
He's not Vince Scully, but he's darn good. Tom Hamilton is right there. He's a superstar. All right, Tito Francona is going to retire, so you got to move on. You got to find a new manager, Coach.
Yes, we do.
Okay with that?
We do. Yeah, It's tough to see Tito go, but but he's got some health issues, so I understand.
Mm-hmm. So it's time for him to do something.
And don't forget about my Buckeyes. They're rolling. We just beat Penn State.
They got a guy named Marvin Harrison Jr. that
he's pretty good.
We can't get away from that guy. He is worth
pretty
the
good.
price of admission. As I say, John Cole is box office, so is Marvin Harrison. All right, for all of our guests tonight, for Alyssa Mercado, Cammie Mercado, for head coach Jeff Bowen, to the man to our left, head coach Rusty Rogers, for Payne Moses, Tim Gosen, that guy over there, Ed Cole. I'm Kevin Derryberry. It's been a blast tonight. Until next time, so long for now.